All right, the sun's rising. Let's get out here and go for a ride in the Super Cub in North Texas off some grass strips with another owner of a small plane here in the building. Right along. Now, there's over 20,000 private grass runways across the United States. These little hidden gems are a playground for pilots, offer some unique challenges and some stunning scenery like this. It's been a little bit since I've been out. I've been on grass, maybe last year. So let's get ready. Let's get in there and go. Man, this old boy's got a little bit of everything out here.
This is a dude that flies for Frontier, I think. Him and his daughter fly this thing. She's a young CFI, really sharp gal. She's an engineer, really good instructor.
Dude, that is a nice plane.
It's a nice plane. She gave me an hour dueling this thing. It was fun. Cool airplane, and then there's an old boy's a cop. He owns this right here.
I'd love to own an old 150, 152, but as I get fatter, I don't know how me and you be in there to be tight even at our weights, and we're not big. Another little Cub over there. So we ended up in the Super Cub instead of the Cub. Big Tundra tires, and there's this weird camaraderie amongst tail dragger pilots that I would equate to something like motorcycle drivers. It's like you're flying off of, a golf course most of the time, but it's just raw aviation at its finest. Now we're going to get up and we're going to tour around here. The next airport's like 2 minutes away. Well, I take that back. Actually, we made a lap around the pattern first because we just wanted to see that everything was all right, which is a big deal when you're in tail draggers. Probably really a big deal in any of these planes, but just making sure that if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong right now, and we're going to be right by the field. So we'll take her around and put it down over the cows.
Every night of the week seems God ain't close as he used to be, and there's more tequila in this old town than pines in Tennessee. I ain't the man I thought I'd be, and these neon lights that keep me up got me thinking maybe mom and dad had it right all along. We're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. I miss the days that flowed like the Mississippi. You find a girl and get married before you're 20. But I've been running like a southbound train, as fast as a northern summer with no one to love.
I'd say the next field over was legitimately 3 minutes. This was a really nice facility, and I'm ashamed I don't know which airport is which, but these little grass strips were just scattered all over the place, and we went in and out of several today. Just adventuring around, looking at fields and cows, and spending some quality time.
our hometown. They said if you buy whiskey, don't overdrink it. If you find love, don't overthink it. Just find yourself a good one, and don't you let it go. That's what they told. Maybe mom and dad had it right all along.
Now, when people think about owning a plane, they often imagine flying between major airports or sticking to paved runways. But here's the challenge. Limiting yourself to paved runways can take the adventure out of flying. Many pilots shy away from grass runways, thinking they're too risky or only for certain types, like tail draggers. The misconception means that you miss out on places like a grass strip nestled in a beautiful lake and dozens of others across Texas and the U.S. Now, the original Piper Cub is built in '38, has a 65 horsepower engine. So when we got out there today, we looked at that and figured we might want to get the bigger plane. You know, the Super Cub, built in '49, it's a little bit beefier version of the Cub. It's got a 90 to 150 horsepower engine on it. But the STOL capability or heavier payload, density altitude's real in small airplanes. And this thing was a delight to be in. Big old Tundra tires, and it felt like it'd fly in 10 feet with both of us in there. Don't know that we went anywhere fast. We probably spent most of the day with 80 knots around these little airports, but looked at, a lot of the landscape and just the majestic beauty that is Texas. We took a low pass over the field a while ago, and now we're actually going to land. Just wanted to check, make sure there was nothing out there on it, no dogs, no debris of any kind. It might look high, but when you pull the power and start slipping the little airplane, it'll get right in. We have no trouble fitting on that small grass runway that would be challenging for a lot of planes, but it's nothing for these little tail draggers. Cedar Mills Airport sits on the shores of Lake Texcoma. It's about a 3,000-foot grass runway, which is actually pretty big for a tail dragger, but it's part of the Cattle Mills Marina and Resort. It's got a lot of friendly accommodations for pilots. You'll see the little rental houses on your right as we land. It's a must-visit bucket list type deal. If you own a little light plane in North Texas, you're going to fly over there and go in and out of this at some point. They host fly-ins regularly. And, it's a really, really nice facility, as you can see out the right. All right, here we are. This is one of the more iconic little grass strips you'll ever fly into. Rental units, Lake Texcoma. Fun places to fly. It's got a lot better video than I'll ever produce out of this thing, but we're going to get back in the plane and carry on with our day. So we're going to get in here and head over to the Sherman area where Bruce's dad's at, and we're going to go check on him. He's 95 years old and still kicking. We're hoping to be 95 years old and still kicking too, but we're enjoying what we got while we got it. Now, Lake Texoma is one of the largest reservoirs in the U.S. It's about 80 or 90,000 acres, and there's a 1,200 square feet of shoreline. Now, it straddles two states, so Texas and Oklahoma, thus the name. It's the striped bass capital of the world. It was created in 1944 when Denison Dam was completed on the Red River. As you get back over into Arkansas, there's more aquifers underneath the ground, but in Texas, they've got to build more reservoirs because there's just less water there. That's also kind of why you see more cattle farming than crop farming in this area compared to an hour and a half to the east. You start picking up delta land that is capable of crops. Plenty of wildlife there. You got bald eagles and herons and white-tailed deer. There's a lot of islands to explore if you had a Sea-Doo or a little pontoon boat. It was a cold day outside. It's pretty windy. There's not really a heater that's going to run you out of the plane like in most planes. If you get into a Cessna 172 and pull the cabin heat on, you're liable to start taking clothes off. In here, it was chilly. I had pulled up everything around my face and head. It was cold, but it was a crisp day, a good day. Unlimited VFR. Coming over Highway 75, that goes north into Durant. But we're swinging around to get a little gas at one of the rural airports with cheap gas, and then I'm going to go put the airplane up and go visit Bruce's dad for a little while. So we headed on over to Sherman, Texas, and found the field. Sherman was founded in 1846. It's one of the oldest towns in Texas. Now, as you notice when we're flying over here, there are a lot of factories or stuff like that. North Texas's economic expansion's been big. Just looking at it, looks like it's booming. Oddly enough, this was the first city to install natural gas street lights, of all things. So maybe an hour out of the Metroplex, but a testament to Texas' economy and just how robust it really is. All right, Sherman, Texas, walk around the FBO like we always do. Pretty old building. I don't know if it was the field was built in 55 or this building was built in 55, but there's what she looks like from the air. Pretty big, honestly. Pretty big. I mean, not a lot to it, just a lot of square footage. There's your main office, an old school simulator in there. A couple planes sitting out here on the ramp. Sort of reminds you of that typical 1960s style building, which would make sense for 55 being the build date on it. But we're waiting on this young man to move, and then we're gonna get a little gas and get going. All in all, nice facilities for just, your average rural airport out here in the middle of nowhere. But we're out burning time, flying around in a small airplane. So I'm gonna go up here and help this young man figure out what he's got going on. Well, the young man got it started up. We got started up before him and headed on out here as we taxi out and get ready to head back to home base. But flying from grass strips like Cedar Mills is a unique adventure that every pilot should experience. Have you ever flown off a grass runway? Have you ever visited one of the hidden gems like this? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're passionate about aviation as I am, Check out my other videos for flying adventures, tips, inspiration. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the next journey. Just like that, we were back at the house. Winds died down a little bit. We've seen a little bit of Texas, gone into a lot of little rural airports and grass strips and got some gas. Just, out here living the dream. Too late to learn how to fly, but remember, I'm rusty. Anything that happens in the videos is highly edited and for entertainment purposes only. Ride along.